All right, it's time to commence the annual Purge. I'm very, very excited for this season. Ever since the beginning of the Purge franchise, something I've always thought about is what is it like after the Purge. That is something that is extremely intriguing to me. I I have thought about so many different scenarios from, you know, the reason that I even originally started thinking about that was because of the end of the first movie when she lets her neighbors go, and then it's just like you've got to live next to those people from that point on, and you know that like they killed her husband, and they like, how could you do it? How could you just go back to business as usual? And speaking of business, imagine coming into work the next day and not only finding, your store looted and whatever, because who cleans this shit up? Who cleans up the bodies? And then also, you come into work and it's like, oh, sorry, Randy and Marcia and whatever aren't coming in because they're dead. Like, okay, so every time, like every purge, you just kind of have to go in. And then imagine just like checking social media right after and being like, who's alive, who's dead, all the people that you know, and finding out your fucking cousin died and your friend from high school or whatever. Just that whole idea of what happens the next 364 days, but especially that first day, is beyond fascinating to me. So when I had found out that they were going to explore, and I don't know how many episodes they're going to do with this, spoilers obviously for this episode, but at the end of this episode, boom, Purge ends. And so I'm hoping the whole rest of this season takes place in that 364 days in between the Purge. Or I would assume the last episode, this is going to be my guess, I'm going to guess 8 episodes are going to be outside of the Purge. It's going to set up all of these storylines, and then an episode or 2 before the end, so maybe 9 or 10. I think there's 10 episodes in this season. Correct me if I'm wrong. There was in the last season, if memory serves me correct. Pretty sure there was 10, yeah. Anyway, it doesn't matter. But however many episodes, I think they're going to wait till the last episode or 2, and then everyone's going to be able to go out and purge each other. Whatever storylines that had been set up. But just with this ending where it ends, and there's so many questions that are answered already. I remember just in the first 10 minutes, I was like, oh, this opening is fantastic. I never thought I would even, never even crossed my mind, who does the voice for the Purge? Never crossed my mind. But what a fucking awesome opening, just to give us that little nugget. I'm that kind of person. I know. And I'm not saying this for every single movie, and I'm not saying this for and some things do need mystery, and I'm okay with that, but I'm a story guy. I like to get in, I like to find every single stupid little detail, inconsequential shit that doesn't matter at all, but if they bring it up in a movie, I want to know all about it. When I watch Halloween, it drives me insane every time that gravekeeper, whatever the hell he is, tells that story of old Charlie Bowles and freaking grabs a hacksaw and proceeds to what? I want to know what happened out in Russellville. I want a whole movie on that alone. So I love that stuff. That's why I love, prequels and all that kind of stuff where I'm just like, yes, give me, how did that happen? And this and that. And as I said, I think I'm in the minority on that. But I do love finding out, the origins of things or how this became that way. And just to see the auditioning of the voice, it's not something I ever thought I needed to see or wanted to see or never even crossed my mind. But now having seen it, I'm so happy. Now I would be very upset, or not, I shouldn't say very upset. That sounds ridiculously over the top. But I'd be bummed to find out that the actress who's doing that isn't the actual actress that does the voice for the Purge. They should have got her if it isn't her. But I can only assume that that is the actual actress, which, if it is, I'm not exactly sure what I expected her to look like, but that ain't it. So I don't have a comparison of oh, well, she looks like this, and what I thought she looked like, just not that. Doesn't matter at all. Just when it came out of her. And I think that's what's so great about it. And that's why I think it would be so cool if it actually is the actress, because it plays with you as well. Like in that moment where I'm like, what is this girl doing? Is she auditioning for a play? What the fuck is this chick up to? And then when her voice comes in, it's so drastically different from the way she looks and her normal voice, that it just hit me like boom. And the way the guys are reacting to it, like, yeah, this is the voice. This is the voice. And this clearly takes place way before. So this is like, you know, I'm assuming after the first Purge that we saw in the first Purge movie. Because at that point, I don't remember there actually being an announcement like that. But it could be. God, I don't remember. I only saw that once. But maybe it's there. Anyways, okay, so let's get into the episode. So much to talk about. This is a really great first episode. I'm more invested in this season already. And I really liked the last season. But at the end of the first episode versus the end of the first episode of season 2, I'm much more in this one as of right now. So, and the fact that it ends on, you know, the 364 days till the next Purge, that I can only assume that the last episode or 2 of this season, this is what I'm going to guess, most of this season is going to be taking place outside of the Purge, which is exactly what I want. And then maybe the last episode, the Purge will happen and all the stories will kind of wrap up in the Purge. All the people get all the evidence, get all whatever they need, and then it's like waiting and biding their time and training and following people around, and then here comes the Purge and it's like revenge time or whatever. All right, so now we have these people who monitor what people are up to on Purge night to make sure they're not using over a class 4 weapon. They end up, you know, finding out about that bank robbery, which they've been kind of following, and that's another extremely fascinating part of it. It's like, what's illegal, what isn't, the criteria, all that stuff, and to see it here, just fan-freaking-tastic. They spot bombs, they spot, you know, illegal weapons. It's these questions that you have, they're getting answered one by one. And that guy with the bomb, they say, like, we marked him, we got facial recognition on this dude, and from here on, like, no matter what, after the Purge is over, he's going down, he's getting arrested, this is illegal. So there are things that are illegal on that night, which we already knew, but just to see that it's actually being overseen like that, it just seems like that would work in a city, but out in the farmlands and out in, you know, this is the whole country that does this. So, I mean, they couldn't monitor absolutely everything. So if someone wanted to use bombs, you would want to use them in some podunk little town where no one would be watching. But, you know, I'm sure they would investigate. I mean, CSI can't come in and investigate every single murder, but I guess if there's evidence of a bomb going off or something like that, that's when they would bring it in. So are there like CSI teams that come in after the fact if there's proof or suspicions that illegal activities take place? It just seems like there'd be so many crimes, it would be hard. And who cleans up the bodies? Who cleans up the rubble? Who pays for that? Is that part of the tax money? Like, I really hope that they explore so many of those questions. So robbing banks, this is another thing I think a lot of us wanted to know about, and here we go. We got a bank robbing crew, 4 guys, or 3 guys and a girl, and they're in there and they're robbing this bank, and then there's these dudes called the jackals who jack other jackers, which I thought was interesting. They kind of just wait outside, and then as soon as the guys have the money, they just come in and rob robbers. There's some freaking Robin Hood type shit there. And then they have face blocking headgear, so they can't be seen by the cameras. I thought that was pretty cool. Which, if true, shouldn't the guy who got his foot across at the end, they wouldn't know who he was, right? So, I mean, he's not definitely caught at that point. I mean, it's the whole point of wearing that, right? Like, why even bother wearing it if it's illegal? I guess it's in case that happens, or I don't know. I mean, there's nothing that can be done to them, but I guess they'll be put on a list of some sort. Doesn't mean they won't still come for them. I like how vomiting on the job when you work for that place that monitors is just, a normal thing. I thought that was funny, where she just has Vicks and she just knows exactly what to do. Like, yeah, we see vomiting here all the time. And of course, we have the girl who's like her first day on the job, and that's supposed to be the voice for the audience. And I'm glad she was there, so we could point some of these things out. We have a fraternity that has to do a scavenger hunt to prove themselves to their frat house. And you know how I already feel about frat houses. I think they're stupid as fuck. Anybody who lets people abuse them or do stupid things just to be their friends, really? You may make friends by letting them hurt you and demean you, and I don't get it, but whatever. Frat scavenger hunt, you gotta go out, you gotta take a picture at Suicide Bridge, which Suicide Bridge seems like a really bizarre thing to have on Purge night. That one doesn't really make sense to me because I know suicide is technically illegal, but I mean, what are they going to do? Arrest your corpse? So I'm not really sure why people would wait till Purge night to kill themselves, but there you go. And okay, so our main guy here, which I think his name is Marcus, him and his wife, they're in the house, like Ethan Hawke's house, and the system that they have rigged up is, hacked or whatnot, and it's raised. Suspicious, though. So I have my suspicions because his wife is out of the room when this happens, and she just so happens to be like honkered down behind what are the odds that she just so happened to be up when the system goes off like that? And then she stays behind. At first, I thought she was going to stab him in the back, quite literally. Like, I thought she had raised it up and then waited for him to come out, turn his back, and then boom, take him down. That didn't happen, but I still smell that she's in on this. It's too coincidental that this chick was up in the middle of the night like that, and the system went up. Now, if so, I'm not sure why she would still be crying and freaking out while she was in the closet and closing it. Like, she was like, oh, I don't know if I should do it. So that doesn't really add up to what she should be acting like. She should be like, yeah, get him, kill him, So, I don't know. That one's tough. But it's a little too coincidental for me. So I'm gonna keep my eye on her. But we found out that this guy has some kind of scarring on his hand, and that's the only attributes that we know. Now the whole him going across, and the guys have the light beam across the street with like a freaking turret gun or something. He hides behind the tree, and then he gets in the car because he's trying to get cover. Where was that guy that was looking for him that whole time? Where the fuck was he? He was coming around the corner, and then, and you could say, oh, well, he was just hiding out from the light guy with the turret gun. No, he wasn't. No, he wasn't, because here's one of my issues with the episode. This makes no fucking sense at all. So, dude gets in car. Guy finally comes out looking for him. For some reason, it took him 10 minutes to come out. And does not even acknowledge the dudes up here with the floodlight and the gun that just killed a dude at a car across the way, another dude that's sitting right there in front of him. He doesn't even look up at him. He has a clean shot at him too if he really wanted to take them down right there and then. So why would he come out right then and there and not even acknowledge those guys? So that completely throws away the idea of like, oh, he was just hiding from those guns. No, he wasn't. No, he wasn't, because he was just so casually walking around out there like nothing had happened, which I thought was really stupid. Then the guy honks the horn, and they turn the gun really quick in the light, and they shoot the guy that's outside the car. And then that's it. The guy's just like, oh, all right, and he just kind of hides until the purge ends. Who do they think was honking the horn? Wasn't the guy outside the car, so they knew someone was in the car and stopped honking. Wasn't like the dude fell on the steering wheel, Annie freaking Brackett style, and was just laying on the horn until Michael took her off. No, 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 no. They knew a guy purposely honked the horn and then let off and was still in the car, so they didn't fire on the car from there. That whole sequence to me was idiotic. Just absolutely idiotic, and it really annoyed me. But that was really one of my only issues with the episode, so you just kind of got to look past it. Then the fraternity guys. Now this one's going to be interesting because they hear this girl who's crying for help, which I thought she was bait. And technically she is, because I think the guy's plan is to kidnap some damsel that he knows he's going to lure some hero, which is more often than not going to be a male. And he wants to rape a male. And so he kidnaps a woman. He locks her up in there, lets her cry out so a male can come in. And then once the male has been caged, he goes over and kills the bait. Like, I don't want to fuck you. I mean, who knows? Maybe he fucked her too, for all we know. But that chick had all her clothes on. And he made that dude get completely undressed. And he was like, oh, you're so beautiful. He was like clearly into him. Not that people can't be into both sexes. They can, but there was no evidence to support. He was purely there for man sex, man rape. And here's this guy, this kid, whose friend left him behind. He's the one who, coaxed him to go out there, made some extremely inappropriate joke about this chick who was hung out there, who I actually thought was faking it, like Goonies style. I thought that chick was going to, like, jump off the bridge and chase after him, but that didn't happen. I thought she, like, hung herself, make it look like she had died, and she was going to, trick him. But friend gets there, boom, turns around, help me out, sorry bro, gone. And the guy survives. And then his whole life is now changed, because this is a kid who, he was going to stay in the whole night. And then he gets coaxed out. He's never done anything like this before. And now he's viciously murdered an attacker, a rapist. Somebody who was trying to rape him. Somebody who murdered somebody in front of him. And he was just betrayed by his friend who ran off on him without helping him. What's that going to be like when he gets back to the frat house? I can't wait to see what happens when he returns back to the frat house. This is what I'm talking about. This is where the Purge has never been explored. What's it gonna be like when he returns home? Like, hey man, I survived. What the fuck now? I love it. I love this idea, and I can't wait. That dude's wearing the God mask from Purge Anarchy. So I know they sell masks, and maybe this was just a popular mask that's out there. I don't remember seeing this mask anywhere else in the franchise other than one of those kids in the opening of Purge Anarchy. But as I said, this could just be a normal mask that sells, because they sell them all over. I don't even know what city this takes place in. That's another fascinating thing here. Like, it's worldwide, or not worldwide, it's countrywide. So it's in every fucking major city. Like, I don't even know what city I'm watching. The Purge is limitless. You could do fucking 50 seasons. One per state. There's so much to explore in this franchise. This is such a fantastic idea for a television series, even more so than a movie. And Esme is the girl who's investigating the bank robbers and all this, and then she sees a friend who helped her out, or she owes her, or whatever, and she has to watch her get executed, which, of course, just imagine having that job. Not only watching who, God knows what people are doing. God knows what you have to watch. Guys raping people and killing babies, and I mean, you just can't even imagine what you would see on a night like. What would the pay be like? I hope there's like hazard pay. I hope you get paid like quadruple on that night if you're working. Although I guess they protect you. That's one thing. That would definitely be invaluable, but still. But yeah, she says it just does not sit right with her, and she goes against protocol and she downloads this stuff. Now, she downloaded it during purge hours, but she picked up the thing after purge hours. I still think it would be illegal anyway, but that all being said, even if it wasn't, she still grabbed the thing after the purge had ended. So I think the crime would sit even if it was legal to begin with, because talk about a technicality, that guy's foot was like this. This was like freaking Super Bowl, last play of the game. Was this foot inbounds? Was it not? And she's like, oh, sorry, the siren just ended and your gimpy foot, your limpy foot. Yeah, would those guys have killed them if they would have given them the money? Probably. I mean, especially after he grabbed the one dude, 100% they would have. There's no way they would have let him get out of there. And then we find out that Marcus's attacker, Marcus I think is his name, Marcus's attacker lives. You know, Michael Myers style. I'm bringing up fucking Halloween a lot here, but a lot of comparisons. Yeah, Michael Myers just missing, blood on the ground, guy's gone, finds the phone, sees that he's been being tracked, and it wasn't random. This is a dude who had it out for him, and that's fascinating. Like, what was it? Was it the wife? Was it, you know, why is he targeting him specifically? I can't wait to find out. I'm hoping that the majority of this season takes place after the purge. I'd be fine with the whole thing taking place after the purge, but what's life like after the purge? I hope we explore so many other questions, so many other avenues to go down in this concept here of life after the purge. So, do you believe in life after the purge? All right, adios.